Kadosh, Boker Or, Masechet Nedarim Daf Zayin Amud Aleph 57a1 says the Mishnah, Kunam perota elu alai. If a person comes and he says kunam, he's making a neder on these perot that he does not want them onto him, or kunam hen alpi, or kunam they are to me, or kunam hen lefi, right, where you're going to his mouth, or according to his mouth, whichever one that it is, right? The shtei nuschaot is the same thing. It's basically the hana'ah that he does not want hana'ah from these fruits. Asur bechilufehen u'gedulen. So we already learned this, if you remember in the Gemara, that you're not allowed to have whether it's going to be whatever the substitutes they have, or gidulehen, which means if I'm going to take them and I'm going to plant them and then it's going to start growing, that is called gidulehen. If a person comes on and he says, Kunam perot shani ochel, that I'm not going to eat, or shani toem, that I'm not going to taste, mutar bechilufehen u'gedulen, you are allowed to come and have the substitutes or whatever grows from them. Because basically you are only prohibiting those same fruits, but not and anything which substituted or came from it. Okay? What happens if a person comes and he says, Kunam perot ha'elu alai, and we're talking about dafka in something which the zera, which means that it's going to be going away, which means that they're not going to be asurim begedulehen unless he had the kavanah to add them on. But if you come and you continue planting them and it's still going to be mitkayem and they continue going, so afilu gidule gidulin asurin. So then it's going to be prohibited, even the gidule gidulin that come out from it. Because at the end of the day, meaning like this: if it's something which is going to be ruined, meaning that you come, you take it off, and you can't grow anything from it anymore. So therefore, that's it. So therefore, it stops there. The buck stops there. But if it's going to be that you could still continue going and going and going, so therefore, those fruits, since the fact that they continue, right, giving off fruits, so therefore you're going to be asur afilu begidule gidulin. It's going to be asur. And it's even like 2 steps removed, it's still going to be prohibited. Says the next part of the Mishnah, Haomeli ishto, a person that comes and he tells his wife. Remember, we're talking about here, right? The person would get upset with his wife, and then he would have it. So he would come and he started making the darim. So he comes and he says, Kunam ma'aseh alai, right? Or kunam hen alpi, or kunam hen lefi. What does that mean? He does not want any of the ma'aseh yadayich on him. He doesn't want that. It's a melacha, the ma'aseh, right? Right? But the neder, in order to be, it could be chal, because it's on the hands of the woman, not just stam on ma'aseh yadayich. So he comes and he says, right, that he doesn't want them. So what happens? Asur b'chiluv g'dulin. You're not allowed to have anything, not the substitutes, or even whatever comes out of that as well, right? Because once he said ma'aseh de adam, that's it. It's like a hekdesh. Right? If he says shani ochel shani toem, whenever I'm going to eat from it or to taste from it, mutar b'chiluv, the same thing. He says b'davar shezaro kaleh. If right now, right, they would come and they would be able to. That means it would get rid of it if you don't plant it to make other gidulin. Aval davar shezaro kaleh. But if it's not going to be kaleh, which means it will continue giving off fruits and fruits and fruits, afilu gidulin gulin, so the same thing. It continues going. It's always going to be prohibited. Why? Because the fact that it continues growing and continues giving off fruits, it's going to be prohibited. What happens if he comes and he tells his wife, whatever you make food, I'm not going to eat it until Pesach. Yeah, she made him the wrong supper. He got all upset. Boom, he gave it to her. Yeah, neder, not eating nothing she makes until Pesach. Yeah, or whatever clothing that you make for me, I'm not going to use it until Pesach. So whatever that she did, even if it was before the Pesach, right? She's allowed to come and to eat or to cover herself with after. He's allowed to do it after the Pesach. Why? Because until the Pesach, he's putting in his neder that the zman of the Yisur, it's not the zman of the Maaseh Isha. Meaning the zman of the Yisur is until Pesach, but not when did the woman make it. It has nothing to do with when did the women make it. It had to do with when is the Yisur until Pesach. Sha'at osa ada Pesach eni ochen. Or atosa ada Pesach, whatever you make until Pesach, I'm not going to eat. Or whatever you make until Pesach, I'm not going to dress myself with. So therefore, whatever that she did before Pesach, he's not allowed to use. Because here it was on the zman of the making it, or the time of the making it, not the zman of the Yisur. So here, since he said, everything that you make until Pesach, I'm not eating, so I'm not eating if it was done before Pesach. Right? It wasn't that until Pesach, I'm not going to eat what you do now. But that means it was on the Zman HaYisur. Here it's on the Zman of the making it. Okay? She'at ne'eneh liyad Pesach. Right? If he comes and he makes a neder to his wife that he doesn't want her to benefit from him until Pesach. If you're going to go to your father's house until the Chag HaSukkot, halcha lifnei Pesach. If she went before Pesach, asura be'anato the Pesach. So now she's not allowed to come and benefit from him until the Pesach. You understood? This is a good way that he didn't want her going to the father's house. So he went and he said, right, kunam, if you're going to go. So she went before Pesach, until Pesach, she's not allowed to benefit. But if she went after Pesach, So now he's going to transgress the concept of lo yachel devaro. Nun zayin mubet. Yeah, 57b. Right? She's overet lemafreya on lo yachel devaro because she went against the neder. Okay? At ne'net liyad hachag im olechet ad levet avicha de Pesach. What happens if he says that she's not allowed to benefit from him until Sukkot if she goes before Pesach, right, to their father's house? If she went before Pesach, she's not allowed to benefit from him. Ad hachag, until the chag, right? But sorry, when he says here, but after Pesach, she's allowed to go. Okay? Fine. Says the Gemara. A person that says to his wife, Kunam ma'aseh yadayich alai, right? Or Kunam en alpi or Kunam en lefi. That was the cases. Okay? So that was what we said in the Mishnah. So says the Gemara, Yishmael ish Kfar Yama, Yishmael, that he was on Kfar Yama. The Amri and some will say ish Kfar Diyama, right? Ela biyado batzal shakaro b'shviit. So he had a question that he had batzal, right? That a person came and he uprooted it during Shemitah. So it had kedushat Shemitah, Shviit, unta'o b'shminit, but he planted it on the 8th year. V'rabu gidulav alikarona. You had much more of the gidulim, more than the ikar, meaning that you have much more that growed more than the ikar of what was originally there. So he's asking the following question: Gidulav heter v'ikaro asur. If the gidulim are of heter, because at the end of the day it was planted on the 8th year, so the gidul is permitted, but the ikaro was something from prohibited. Since you have more of the gidul than the ikar, gidulo heter ma'alin et yisur, so therefore the gidule heter are going to make that the yisur is going to become batel. Or maybe we're not going to say that. Everyone understood the question. They came in front of Rabbi Yami. He didn't have an answer. They came in front of Rabbi Yitzchak. So he said it was going to be Pashut Damar B'chanina Trita. That said B'chanina Trita. Amar Rabbi Yanai says Rabbi Yanai. Batzal shel Truma shenitao. What about Truma? The same thing you could have. Lav davka Shmita, right, of Shavuot. You have now Truma. You took Batzal of Truma that only a kohen could eat it. You planted it. And now you have more gidul on the ikar, right? It's going to be mutar. Everything's going to be mutar, right? Which means that it doesn't have the isur of truma anymore. So you see from here that the fact that you have gidulim, which are going to be more than the ikar, they are mibatel the ikar. So Elmaleh Rabbi Yomi comes and he says, Shavik more train v'avid kechad. Says what? You're going to leave 2 chachamim and you're going to do like 1 chachamim, which means there were 2 chachamim that they came and they said that it's going to be asur. So why are you going to go like Rabbi Yanai? So you're going to say that it's going to be mutar. So ask the Gemara, who are the 2? Because the ones that we asked was Rabbi Yami, he didn't have an answer. Rabbi Yitzchak Nafcha, he went to, he brought down in the name of Rabbi Yanai. But who are the 2? Mani nutrein. Tamar Rabbi Yavu Rabbi Yochanan says of Yehu name Rabbi Yochanan, Yalda shesibecha biskena. When you have a netiyat tzira, a young sapling, right, that it's still orla, right? Remember that the first 3 years, you have orla by a tree. So you have a young sapling, okay? You know what a sapling is? Netiyat tzira, right? A small tree. Yeah? Netiyat tzira, right? That a person... Yes. Chazak Baruch. Yeah? So he comes and he says like this. He says, right, when you have this young sapling, that he comes and he says, right, you came and you cut it, and then you did arkava. Arkava is grafting. Right? You did grafting, that means you put it with another tree, with a tree which was older than 3 years. Uba perot, and it already has fruits. Afal pisho sifa matayim, even though it added another 200 of the fruits, meaning that it added on asur, it's still going to be asur. So you see from here that you don't say bitul. Here you had orla, you took from the orla, you put it with an older tree, you did the grafting, now it comes a third, party of a tree or whatever it is. You already had fruits, now it added on 200s. So it's usually, right, truma, these things are going to be batel and matayim, not on shishim. Shishim are certainly surim. Other things is going to be 101, and certain things is going to be even 200. Okay? So he comes and he says, so in order to be batel or la, you need 200. It's not enough just shishim. Okay? So he comes here and he says, right, what's going on? Here it's a sur. Who's the chamashani? When you take this batzal and you planted it in a vineyard, and then you continue, right, growing, right, but not in matzav of kilaim, asur, it's still going to be asur, right? That means even though it was afterwards, it had more than the pimatayim from the ikar, right? Was kilei kerem is also bimatayim. It's not going to be batel, and it's not going to be matir the ikar. So here you have 2 rabbis. Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani name Rabbi Yonatan, and you have Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Yahuwah name Rabbi Yochanan, two rabbis saying that it's a sur, and you only have Rabbi Irana saying that it's mutar. So what's going on? So Hadarata lekomed Rabbi Yami. So they came in front of Rabbi Yami. Upasha leminada. Rabbi Yami says, you know what? I have a psak from this. Damar Rabbi Yitzchak. Says Rabbi Yitzchak in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. Litra shel betzalim shetikna. When you have a mishkal, litra is a certain mishkal, or a certain weight of betzalim, of onions. Shetikna, that you came and you fixed it. Uzra'a, right, which means you separated trumot u'masrot. That's why it's tikna, you fixed it. And then zra'a, then afterwards you came and you planted it. Mit'aseret lefi chula. It needs afrashat trumot u'masrot on everything that it has. Which means, right, that not only on the things that they already chayav, even on the karima they're going to be chayav, even though you already separated it. That means you see it's like a new entity. That means you already came and you separated Trumot Masrot. Now you have to come and you have to do it again. Yeah? So what does he say? Alma, you see from here, it is Muvatal Leikar. Right? So therefore you see from here that's why Rabbi Yami came and he paskin lekula, like Rabbi Yanai. Right? Why? Because here you see, like in the name of Yochanan, that you are Muvatal Leikar. So says the Gemara, no. Dilma lechumra shana. Here it's a chumra. It's not lekula. Here, what are we trying to do? You're obligated in taking Trumot Masrot, even though you already took it off of the Ikar. It's a chumrah, it's not a kula. So maybe the lechumrah, I do say that it's going to be that you're going to be obligated. That it's going to be like a new entity, that it's going to be, but not lekula. Right? We were always talking lekula, not lechumrah. Here, this is lechumrah. But rather, you're right. Minada, there's another case. Tanya, we learned in the Braita, Rabbi Shimon says, we could do even another daf. Yeah, called the Vashesh Matidim. Anything which has a matidin, okay, go on, for example, tevel. Davar sheyesh lo matidin means that you have something which you could have a heter for it. There are certain times, for example, that we say there's bitul. But if I have a heterim, I cannot be mevatel. For example, let's say I have a beitzah shenolda b'yom tov, right? A beitzah, an egg which is born in yom tov. I can't benefit from it. But let's say that beitzah gets mixed up with other eggs. Even in elef, it's not batel. Even in 1,000, it's not batel. Why? Wait until motzei yom tov, and then you're allowed to have a beter. So davar sheyesh lo matirim, something which you have a heter, why are you going to eat a beisur, eat a beter? Just wait, and that's it. That's called davar sheyesh lo matirim. So here, for example, he says tevel, maaseh sheni, hekdesh, vechadash, lo nitru b'hem chachamim shiur. It doesn't exist bitul by these things, right? Why? Because it's never going to be batel. Because in all these things, just wait. Chadash, wait until Pesach, and then everything becomes yashan again, right? Hekdesh, right? You could redeem it. Trumot tevel, right? Redeem it. Separate Trumot Masot. Maaseh Sheni, same thing. All these things, redeem it. And then you get rid. Why are you going to be mevatel? It's something that is not a matirim. For example, Trumat Maaser, Chala, Ola, Kila Kerem. All these things, there's no, you can't just wait and then you can't redeem it. Truma is a problem, right? So Natru Ba'en Chachamim Shiur, they did give them a shiur. So Amru, they told them, right? Va'lo Shvi'in en la matirim. He said one second, Perot Shvi'it, there's no ater. Perot Shvit, you can never take it out of the Isur. Right? They didn't give them. Right? The Gemara continues to do with the concept of this. We continue tomorrow.